Hello world, it's the Sunday morning, it's the 21st of May, it's about 20 to 10 in the morning. I've just returned from Austria, returned late yesterday. And a big thank you to all those people who hosted me in Austria. Did a lot of readings, did a good lecture, went to a few different places, and interesting times. Particularly, thank you. I found myself in the Austrian city of Salzburg for one day, and seemingly by accident, coincidence or synchronicity, I found myself led to a church on the outskirts of the new city called San Sebastian. It's actually in between the old city and the new city. And to my astonishment and pleasure, I found myself standing outside the tomb of Paracelsus, who a few of you will know of as being the greatest alchemist of all time. Paracelsus was born either in November or December 1493, and he died around about 1541. He was 47 years old. No one's quite sure on his birth date whether he was a Scorpio or a Sagittarius, but bearing in mind that he had a very big mouth, he was very acerbic, he criticised his contemporaries, and he wasn't that popular a person because he was seen as a loudmouth. I suggest, no disrespect, but I suggest he was Sagittarius more than Scorpio. Paracelsus was a great alchemist. Now, I've had more than a passing interest in alchemy for a long time. I have a couple of rather obscure astrological alchemical texts from the 1800s as part of my library. I've always studied alchemy, never as a practitioner, more as a student. And I've realised over the 30 to 40 years that I've been studying it that most people have got the wrong end of alchemy. Most people think it's about turning lead into gold. And indeed, many of the alchemical books you will read will talk about different formulas, different practices, the blending of chemistry with spirituality and meditation in order to change lead into gold, or to infuse particular botanical essences to make refinements. And yes, there is an element of all this. But alchemy is the transmutation of one's soul into a higher state of being, and a unification with spirit. And Paracelsus knew this. This is the guy who gave us he's the guy who discovered zinc, for a start off. He's also the guy who brought the words gas, chemistry, alchemy into the English language. Without him, these words would not have been discovered until much later. He used astrology, and he's also perhaps one of the founders of homeopathy. His catchphrase was, "The dose makes the poison," and he knew that if you treated people with a lot of poisonous stuff, they would die, but if you treated them with a little bit of stuff, they would probably get better. He was very unpopular, but he became more and more renowned after his death. He was castigated during his life, but revered after his death. He was a contemporary of people like Da Vinci, Luther and Copernicus, and although there were comparisons between him and Martin Luther, Paracelsus rejected them, said, look, all we both do is we both speak our truth, and if the church had its way, then both of us would be killed. Paracelsus' personal motto was, excuse my Latin, "Alterius non sici sus esse potest," which means let no man belong to another who can first of all belong to himself. He introduced the world to alchemy in a way that was the start of the chemical revolution. He was a great philosopher. He rejected the magical theories of Agrippa and Flamel, and he in favour of astrology. Paracelsus was a very good practising astrologer, but he got up so many people's noses. He made so many people angry. I was so fortunate to find his tomb. I found his tomb in the San Sebastian graveyard in Salzburg, in the same place as the Mozart family, although not Wolfgang. And in that churchyard there are so many crypts with skulls, skull and crossbones, Masonic and Illuminati, Rosicrucian, regalia. If you ever get the chance to go to the crypt or to the graveyard of San Sebastian and Salzburg, you will find a degree of serenity and peace. And if you do go, make sure you visit the tomb of, well, to give him his full name, Philippus Aureolus Theophrastus Bombastus von Hockenheim, or as he's better known to the world, perhaps the greatest alchemist of all time and one of a few people I really revere, Paracelsus. Right, back to the astrology tomorrow, folks. Have a great day. Bye.